going to move on to the TPB ID requirements. And a lot of you are probably thinking, what does this mean and how does this apply to you? So we'll jump right in. Just checking that you can see my screen okay. Beautiful. So the TPB now requires us, BAS and tax agents, to identify and verify the identity of all of our clients. So what is it? It is the ATO and the Tax Practitioners Board, the TPB, they've introduced these new ID verification rules, and it is now something that we need to do. In terms of when do these new requirements apply, they are coming into force in the middle of this year. However, they want us to start this as best practice immediately. And what are the requirements? The verification requirements are different depending on whether it is an individual or an individual representing something else. So I'll just quickly step it through. So if you are an individual that you're seeking to engage a registered tax practitioner, then what the tax agent will need is your full name, your residential address, and your date of birth. And in order to verify that, we need to then see an original or certified copy of an ID document, such as a driver's license or a passport. The next scenario is an individual that is wanting to engage a tax agent on behalf of another client. So both of these people need to be verified. And again, it's using the same documentation as prior. You don't have to remember all of this. This is going to, we're going to make your lives easier, but we did want to explain what we need to ask for and why. And the next is an individual representative on behalf of a non-individual client. So for example, you own a company and you're wanting the tax agent to be able to do the tax on behalf of that company, not necessarily yourself, then there's more that we need to request. That is your full name, residential address, date of birth, as well as the ABN, ACN, and any other additional information needed to confirm that the company indeed belongs to you. And we do that by the same identity documentation that we request as an individual, plus a copy of the ABN or ACN details. If we've set this up ourselves for you, then there's not going to be a need to provide all of your company details, but we are required to do it on an individual basis. The biggest question we've had is, does this apply to new and existing clients? And at the moment, it's only being required for new clients or new relationships with existing clients. So what does that mean? It basically means that if you're an existing client and nothing changes throughout the time as a client, then we don't necessarily need to verify your identity. However, if you open up a new company, then we will be required to ask for your ID because it's a new relationship with an existing client. And so luckily it's not a requirement we have to go through. So we're not going to be sending out an email or calling you to say, hey, can you provide us with all of this documentation to verify your identity? But we do want you to be aware that this is something that is coming into place. And I just want to confirm that it applies to not only individual clients, but to individuals that have non-individual entities such as companies and that sort of thing. So do you need to do anything at this point in time? The answer is no, which we like to give you a positive answer like that. It is something that will be implemented internally and that we will provide any information as needed to verify these identity documents. It will become standard as part of any onboarding or any changes, but it's not something that you need to think about at this point in time or do anything about. Just ensure that you have the information on hand so that this can be verified. We will, of course, send out an email and let all of our clients know as soon as anything changes and if we require anything from you. But we did want to at least keep you up to date with what's happening from the verification process end. So that's short and sweet when it comes to the ID requirements, because luckily we don't have to tell you to do anything, which is really nice, which I know has been very different to what we've had to request from other things in the past with all of the ATO's changes. But this is what will be coming into place from now on from our end. All right. I will stop sharing my screen. If there were any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or put it in the chat. If not, feel free to email through any questions. This recording will go up in our resources together with the cheat sheet mentioned for the super stapling that Kate ran us through, and any other additional information that becomes relevant to these topics. Should you need anything from us, please don't hesitate to contact us. And thank you all very much for being here today.